All right, welcome everybody to the first, maybe annual, FusionCast Game of the Year
Well,
podcast.
shit, if we have another year like this year, we're going to need to do it biannually.
That's true. That's true.
There's just too many games.
Totally. So yes, it
Anyways,
would be our
continue.
first. I'm your host Fusion64, and along with me every week and maybe every year for Game of the Year, my co-host Rebel Blood 80. How's it going, sir?
Going good. How you doing?
I am doing great. We have not just our top 10 games of the year. We have a few other categories we can get into.
Yeah, not your typical categories, I would say. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but
Right.
not as extensive as the Game Awards.
No, definitely not. Nothing like that. Nothing crazy. We don't have content creator of the year or whatever else stupid other shit that they had there. Best esport.
Best streamer, best.
So what do we got? We've got biggest surprise, biggest disappointment, platform of the
Mhm.
year, games we didn't have time to play, right?
Right.
Honorable. Then we have our honorable mentions that didn't make it into our top 10. Then we got our top 10.
That we wish we had a larger number to play with than a top 10.
Right. Yeah. Totally. So,
'Cause,
what would you like to start with? Biggest? Do you want to start positive, biggest surprise, or negative, biggest disappointment?
we might as well start with a surprise since it is the new year.
Okay, start things off
Biggest surprise.
in a nice way.
Now, do you just have one, or do you have more than one? Because I've got just a couple on each of these.
I've got a couple. I have basically two, and it depends on how you judge biggest surprise. So, biggest surprise would be
Yeah, I've got two too.
So biggest surprise, I went with. I had thought about two of them. One of them was a game I didn't know about that came out, and I absolutely loved it, and that would be Brotato.
Okay, I can see that.
But I would say overall, my biggest surprise that I knew about, and I didn't play it until the end of the year, and it got like okay reviews. It was like in the sevens, I think, and that is Callisto Protocol. So that would be my biggest surprise
Did
of
that
the
come out
year.
this year?
That came out at the end of last year, I think December of
Okay,
2022.
I'll count that.
I mean, I have games in here that didn't come out this year. I think so.
In your top 10?
Yes, I think
Oh,
maybe one game.
I was not aware of those rules.
No, there's no rules. It's just the top 10 games you played this year.
Okay, well, I was going by unknown imaginary rules.
No
Which is
rules.
fine. My top 10 list is A-okay.
I think. Oh, you know what? I think I have games in here that came out in December of last year too. So
I think that qualifies because
right,
most award shows forget about those
totally.
those
Yeah,
games.
I didn't forget about them though.
If you come out in December, you're not getting a Game of the Year award.
I didn't forget about 'em probably because I didn't play them till this year though either. So, but yeah,
Which
biggest surprise would be Callisto Protocol, and then a close second, I'd say Brotato, which a game was I never heard of, and it just launched on Switch, and it was like, this is like Vampire Survivors, some kind of, and I played it, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, those would be my two biggest surprises of the year.
those are some nice surprises.
How about
I
you?
was actually surprised by Callisto Protocol too, how much I enjoyed that weird combat in it, which is basically Punch Out,
Yes.
but it's not on my list. But
Okay.
that was surprised. I thought I was going to hate that combat, but I was surprised I enjoyed bobbing and weaving and then hitting a thing with a pipe. But for me, I've got two here as well. One was Cyberpunk 2077. Was a huge surprise for me. The expansion, Phantom Liberty, how much I enjoyed that.
Was
Because
it really
while
a
I
surprise
enjoyed,
though? Didn't you enjoyed the base game, right?
I did, but I included it here because I was surprised how much they changed it and how much they improved the game
Okay.
compared to what it was at base release. So not only is the expansion awesome, but they completely overhauled that game. And if it was released in that state, it would have dominated the sales charts when it came out. Even though it is selling like hotcakes with the expansion now too.
I'm gonna have to give you an asterisk on that surprise, but go ahead.
Hey, it released this year. The expansion released this
I
year.
know it wasn't that. I wouldn't say that was a big surprise though for you, since you're such a big fan of the base game. But okay, I'll allow it. There's no rules.
Well, the game is no longer like it was, so that is a surprise.
Okay.
Like I knew they were going to update it and kind of fix it, but they completely overhauled that game to something brand new.
They finished
So,
it.
Yeah, they put the finishing touches on it.
They put a lot more than the touches. They finished it after what, 3 years?
What I bought early on was the early access.
Yeah.
And for me, my second surprise, which might not count as a surprise either, because everyone said it was good, but I don't trust what other people say. I usually judge for myself. That was Dredge. How much time that just took away from me, because I popped it in and I was like, I'll give this a shot, and then 25 hours later, I'm like, holy shit, I completed the whole game.
Right.
And so, yeah, I was surprised about how much I love that game and how much more I want of that game.
Man, that was a game that I almost bought physically on the Switch, and I never did, and I was disappointed that I didn't buy it.
You should, because it should run pretty well on the Switch. It's
Yeah.
not that impressive.
I'm going to see if the physical cart's still out there.
It's the problem with those indie games on Switch, man. They become hard to find.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, totally.
It's not a limited run games release, is it?
It might be. I'm not sure.
That bullshit company that's getting some of my money too often.
And that's the problem with like physical games in general on the Switch. Even like I was looking, they had their sale this week, and like Eastward was on sale, and what was the other one? Oh, not the Walking Dead. The what is the Sega light gun game?
House of the Dead?
House of the Dead remake. And they're like 75% off of what they are physical. So I'm like, ugh. It's like I should buy these physically, but I don't want to spend 3 times as much.
Yeah, do you want to pay $3 or $20?
Right, yeah, I know, totally.
And for a not that great game to begin with, because that House
Right.
of the Dead game is not very good.
No, did you play it?
I have it on PC.
Gotcha.
I don't have it on Switch. So Switch controls might be better because of the gyro, but it's not very good. You really need a light gun to have fun with those kinds of games.
Do you want to with Zigzag? Do you want me to go with my biggest disappointment, or would you like to go? Because I got probably a pretty lengthy one.
Well, mine is only 3, so we could
You have
power through my
3 disappointments.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I was thoroughly disappointed.
I have
year.
one big one. Okay, go for it.
I'm gonna go with the one that recurrent listeners might identify or know from me speaking about is Starfield.
Okay.
My hopes weren't high on that, so calling it a disappointment is a stretch, but I expected more from Bethesda, and it fell flat for me. I know a lot of people love the game. That's fine. I played 50 hours of it, and I don't like it.
So I'm going to go ahead and take a guess that this game is not on your top 10.
No. Which blows my mind, because we could get into just a snippet of news here. That game actually won the Steam Awards
for most innovative or something like that?
Most innovative gameplay, which I have to think people are just trolling.
Probably, I would imagine so, right?
They've got to be trolling, because that game is bullshit. It's not broken, it's not bad, it's just so mediocre from what's supposed to be an awesome studio that it just dashed my hopes for any future releases that they might do.
Well, it seems like everybody else evolved and they didn't really, at least from the outside looking in. Would that be?
But they might be, because of that supposed Oblivion remaster that's coming out.
Yeah.
Where they're like combining their game engine with Unreal 5, if I understood that right. Which should make the game pretty, but do the... I don't know.
Well, it just seems like from a design and gameplay design, it seems like they haven't really evolved much from what they did in the 360 era, but...
Yes, we are beyond loading screens every 2 minutes
right.
while you're playing a game.
Right.
That is utter ridiculous. Gunplay is not bad, though. Doesn't drive me wild.
Yeah.
Moving on, my next biggest disappointment, is Redfall.
Oh, I don't even want to hear that. You were fucking defending this game when it came out, you bastard. I don't want to hear it.
I wanted it to be good.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Yeah, it's not that bad.
And I wanted it to be good, not because it's an Xbox game, because you keep calling me an Xbot, not an Xbot. I wanted to be good because I love Arcane, and I like those 4-player co-op shooters. Even though I find I don't have time to play any games with my friends nowadays.
Or then it's like, I don't want to. I like playing like multiplayer, 4-player co-op games, but not talking to people. Just like, I'll play with you. Just I don't want to talk to you or communicate.
I don't want to talk to random people. No.
Yeah.
But my friends, yeah, it's a good time, but it's hard to align that time to play with people now. But going back to like Left 4 Dead and shit like that, those were good times, man. Even like Halo 3 co-op, that was a blast, and that's what I was hoping for in this game, and that's why I'm disappointed, because it totally missed the mark, and Arcane should never do a multiplayer game again.
True.
Ever.
Agreed.
Ever.
Agreed.
And my final and biggest disappointment and game that I've still been playing here and there is Diablo 4.
Really? I thought
Yeah.
So the base game was good though, wasn't it? You did like the base
The
story.
story is terrible. I did not like the story, and the gameplay loop is too grindy.
2 games as a service-y.
Kind of, yeah. It is 2 games as a service-y. It's
Always online.
I don't like it. But I'm still playing it.
Right. It's
Because
crack.
of that Diablo hit you get from getting better gear.
Right.
Which they've kind of fixed it a little bit, but it's still too grindy, and once you get to the end, it's like, what do I do now? Start a new character?
True.
Keep killing stuff to get better gear? It's just, I don't know.
Such a shame.
I might go back to it again, check out next season, but I might be also completely done with it, because there's better games out there to play.
Totally. I'm excited to try it out when it comes to Game Pass.
Yeah, fair point. That would be a good Game Pass game.
Definitely, for sure. Hopefully here soon, here in the next, like, couple months, you would imagine.
I would hope so.
Probably when that expansion drops, whenever that is.
That would be a perfect time, because they're not going to drop the expansion with Game Pass. They're going to have you pay extra money for the expansion, $100 for the expansion, and then you get the base game on Game Pass.
Right, totally.
Yeah, no. Fuck Blizzard.
All right, my biggest disappointment, I only have one.
Oh.
And it is a doozy. Are you
Spider-Man 2.
Are you ready for this?
Yes. No, I'm not.
My biggest disappointment of the year is Xbox. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It's not Xbox.
No, that's a fair point, because they didn't really do anything.
It is not.
Other than Hi-Fi Rush.
No, it's not. My biggest disappointment of the year is PlayStation.
Really?
Yes. So let's frame this out for you here. Starting off the year, we got, we're coming off, at the beginning of the year, we're coming off not having any PlayStation showcases for a year and a half. The last big PlayStation showcase, I think, was in September of 2021. So we open the year, we get the announcement of PlayStation VR 2's price, and that's like $550, and whew, that's a doozy, right? So
that you shelled out for.
I did. But I knew what was going to happen. It was way too expensive. I mean, not for what the tech is. The tech is good, but $550 is not going to make your VR platform popular and successful. It's too much. Correct.
No, but you would at least expect like a killer game for it by the end of the year here.
And they do have some good games. The only problem is a lot of these are Quest ports, and a lot of these are games that have already, like, their best game is Gran Turismo, and both the Resident Evil games are games that people have already played their old games converted into VR, really. They did have one, Horizon Call of Mountain, which was good, but it wasn't like a system seller, and that's the only one, really. So, like,
and they're not getting those games that everyone is talking about that is on Oculus and stuff like that.
Right,
Asgard 2.
Wrath, yeah, totally. And there's like a lot of, I mean, people who play like quote unquote flat screen games don't know, like the Quest platform has a lot of good games that like regular gamers don't know about because they're not like your EAs or your Activisions or your other, Nintendo games. There's a whole bunch of good stuff on there that's not on PlayStation VR 2. And so I think that's a highlight right there. That's a dead platform. They don't
Yeah.
talk about sales numbers, and people are like, "Do you think PlayStation's going to support, PSVR 2?" No, after the first year, they don't talk about it or nothing. This thing was kind of like softly thrown out there to die, basically. And they're like, "Okay, here, if you guys want to support it, go ahead. If not, whatever." So that's number one point on that. The second point would be they had their first showcase in like 18 months, and it was a bad showcase. Remember that it was all CG trailers. They had no big single player first party games. All they had were like the live service games that nobody wanted to see. So that was another knock against them. And then we have the PS Plus price hike.
Oh yeah.
We have went from $60 to $80 a year, and I don't even know what the other one. I know the other ones went up like 30% roughly, which I mean I don't know the price because I'm not subscribing to those tiers. They're not.
They went up to
definitely
the
not worth
price.
it.
You better have a second job to afford.
Yeah,
Price tier.
Yeah, way too much. That's what they went up. So yeah, that's another notch against them. They had one first party game all year, and that was Spider-Man 2. I mean, if you're not counting the VR stuff, but that was it. Spider-Man 2. That's the only first party game this year.
Yeah, that is a disappointment.
They canceled the Last of Us Factions multiplayer game. So like
After so much time
after
and
so much
money
time
was
and
put
money
into it.
spent into it, they went in this live service direction. Now they're talking about there possibly or maybe course correcting, but that's still kind of a rumor out there. So, and then to top it off at the end of the year, we had the Insomniac leak that shows their budgets are way out of control and probably unsustainable. So, they sold a lot of consoles this year. They were, successful in that, but, for a hardcore fan, it was a bad year for them.
Yeah, you still got to balance the books at the end of the year, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep doing it the way they're doing it.
And so, yeah, not knowing, and then we go into next year only knowing about that Concord
War.
game. That Concord game that is like one of their new studios. That's a live service game that we only saw like a CG trailer that showed us nothing about what the game is. That's all we know for first party from this year.
I thought with the God of War DLC was coming next year. Or am I just making that up?
I think you're just making that up. Yeah, that that was never confirmed. That was like the Atreus. That was only a rumor. So.
Okay.
So
wishful thinking on my part.
We've got The Last of Us 2 remastered in like 2 weeks, and then a bunch of second party stuff like Helldivers. Then we got like third party games like Rise of the Ronin and Final Fantasy Remake, but nothing from first party other than that Concord game, which we know nothing about. So that's what we got on the table for this year. So they are just they're bad at communication, and yeah, I don't know. It looks like it might be a down year for them. I mean,
You're saying that Xbox could come in and take the win this year.
And the hearts and minds, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it turns into like, outselling consoles or whatever. But I think they're gonna have a much better year in software department, much better.
If nothing else gets announced, yeah, that could be
right. I mean, I'm expecting them to have a developer direct here in the next 3 weeks or so. Probably, I think last year was January 28th. So
I think a lot of people are talking that they're going to have an announcement soon, and that's where they're going to drop that Oblivion remaster.
So the
remake.
Yeah, the rumors.
Not a remaster. It's a remake.
Remake, yeah. The rumors are, the 24th possibly, or the last week, I think. So, yeah. Very disappointed in the platform. And there was tons of great games and stuff to play. Like third parties carried the platform, but they carried everything this year. I mean, they had Final Fantasy 16, but yeah, just overall too quiet. A lot of bad decisions, I think.
Decisions that are going to affect them into this year
in the long, yeah, the decisions that are going to affect them long term, like mid to long term, really. So.
And I don't want to see that.
No.
An Xbox fanboy shouldn't want to see that either. We
No.
want to see these systems competing against each other
Yeah.
at full power to make us the best games possible.
And speaking of systems competing against each other, let's go to our next award, and that is Platform of the Year. What would you say was
PC.
the pet? No, we don't recognize PC on this podcast. It's not a platform. It's for spreadsheets. So
I
what
I
would
would
you,
have to go with Nintendo, even though I didn't have this on my list. I think they had a killer year.
yeah, I would agree too. I would say if I'm picking platform of the year, I got you covered here. I would go with the Nintendo Switch. I can give you their lineup of like notable releases that they released this year. So we
Yeah,
got
three off the top of my head, which is why I went to it first
Fire
compared to the other systems.
Fire Emblem Engage January 20th, Metroid Prime Remastered in February, Tales of Symphonia Remastered. I don't know if that was an exclusive or not, but Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, February. We had the Mario Kart 8 Booster Pass, fourth wave, fifth wave, and sixth wave, I think, released this year. Yes. We had Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon in March. We had the Mario Brothers movie, not technically a platform, the game, but associated with Nintendo. Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp in April. Zelda in May. Pikmin 1 and 2 in June. Everybody 1-2 Switch in June, which I don't know if we'd count that as a positive or not. Probably not.
I don't think so. I heard it was garbage.
And then we had Pikmin 4 in July. F-Zero 99 in September. Detective Pikachu Returns in October. Mario Brothers Wonder October. WarioWare Move It November. And Mario RPG in November. So
Yeah,
that's
I
a
think
lot. I mean, plus
Nintendo, come on up here, get your award.
like all of the indie games that they had. I mean, they had a lot of notable indie games released this year. A lot of good ones.
Yeah, a lot of people played Dredge on the Switch.
Dredge, Brotato, Vampire Survivors came out this year. Dave the I'm dead. It's not an indie game, but Dave the Diver, super popular indie style game. So I mean, yeah, dude, they kicked ass this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh,
100% agree.
let's get into what do we have next? The games we didn't have time for. Is that what was the other category?
Yeah, we could do that next.
I have a few. Or what did you want to do? You tell me.
Go with yours first. We could do the no time to play category. No time to play award.
No time to play category. There's a few select ones that I did not have time to get to this year.
And on this one, I've only included games that I bought and did not have time to play.
Okay, so I have Mario RPG.
Okay.
And Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Oh, I could put Mario RPG on my list as well. That's not on my list, but
And I think that's the only two that I bought that I didn't have time to. Oh, Pikmin 4.
no, I don't think it needs to be that we bought the game for it to be on this list. I mean, considering playing a game and not getting around to it could count too, I think. But yeah, I did buy all these games on my list, and for me, it was. Go ahead.
Probably those two of the three would probably be in my top 10 if I would have had time to play them, but I didn't get to them. So
probably
I could have like Baldur's Gate 3, which I don't even know if I will play, but
well, if it was going to come to Game Pass, I was going to say give it a shot there, but I think the director of the game or somebody from them said, nope,
never,
not going to happen.
Never.
Did they say never or just wasn't going to happen?
No,
now?
I think they just said it's not going to happen.
So maybe in the future. That would be a good get for them to get on Game Pass.
Totally. I mean, yeah, there's a ton of ones that I didn't even get to, like any of the Yakuza games I still haven't gotten to this year.
Both of those were good.
Starfield, I want to see if it's as bad as you say it is. Didn't get to. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I did not get to, did not have time to play.
That's why we have this year.
Right.
Which hopefully isn't filled with as many games.
It doesn't seem like it is.
Not yet.
Not yet. But, like, I feel like last year on this time we knew, like, the first half and was stacked.
Yeah, maybe they'll go easy on us this year so we could get caught up from last year's games.
Totally. Yeah. So, what was your games that you didn't have time to get to?
So I have Octopath Traveler 2.
That I would like to play that.
Yeah, that came out this year. I bought it. I booted it up once just to see if it was still how Octopath 1 was, and it was, but I didn't really get a chance to play it. Like I don't consider not getting past the tutorial. Like if you boot it up and you have not made it past the tutorial,
You didn't play
then
it.
you haven't. Yeah,
Yeah,
no time to play.
right, totally.
Uh, one that you might not know of, which actually is free on PC. I don't know if it's anywhere else. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, I've not gotten. I've not heard of that.
I've heard really good things about that, and it's in my library, and I don't think it's that long, so I really should just boot it up and play it. Apparently, Sonic gets murdered, and you play as a character trying to figure out who killed Sonic.
Oh, well, that's
It's
interesting.
probably Tails.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a visual novel type game.
Nice.
Maybe similar to those
The
Capcom detective games.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I got to boot it up and see. One I know you definitely did not hear of. Stasis Bone Totem.
Nope, never heard of that.
It's a CRPG done by an independent team. That's all I'm gonna say about that because you don't care about that. Dave the Diver.
I played the demo. It's an awesome demo.
Yeah, I have the game. I've got it downloaded on my Steam Deck. Just have yet to boot it up. I've got Like a Dragon Gate in here. Made it like halfway through the tutorial and just kept getting dragged away to something else.
That's the
So
new
I'm
one,
concluding,
right?
yes, that's the one
Okay.
where you play as the Ryu. What's his name?
Kiryu.
The guy who's in Kiryu. That's
Yeah.
it. I knew it was a
Yeah.
Yu.
I want to.
Yeah,
I want to play that, but I want to go to Ishin next and play that.
yeah. I have way more time in Ishin than I do in Gaiden. Like I got a good deal into Ishin, and that game's really good. But Gaiden seemed like it was going to be good. I just can't get past the tutorial. I have to keep starting it over, like 2 or 3 times. So I finally gave up, and that's why it's on this list. And the final one, which might surprise a lot of people, Hogwarts Legacy.
Good game.
That's what I hear.
Good game.
And I outplayed like 10 minutes of that also. Got to see the opening cutscene. I was like, that's cool. And then got dragged away.
Best-selling game of the year, right?
Yes.
That's big.
I did
was
not
that
have
the
enough.
first time in, I don't know,
Ever?
that a Call of Duty or a Rockstar game has been the best-selling game of the year?
Probably.
I think
It
that
probably not would be best-selling game of the year if GTA 6 came out this year. That's for sure. That's going to outsell this game, hands down.
totally.
But yeah, I'm no releases for a while except for that new Like a Dragon coming out, I think this month, towards the end of this month. So we got that, but I'll be able to catch up on some of these as long as nothing else big comes out. Oh no, shit! I forgot. Dragon's Dogma 2.
Oh,
in
yeah,
March.
that's right. That is correct. Okay, so maybe not enough time for backlog.
No, not enough time. That's going to take precedence.
Let's get into the meat here of our show.
You want to do the 1 or 10 through 1 and then honorable mentions at the end?
Let's do honorable mentions first because
First?
we don't want to over. Yeah, let's get the.
You want to end on a high note? End on
totally.
at number 1?
Yes.
Okay.
So
you go ahead.
I get a few honorable.
You want to bounce them back and forth? Do one at a time?
I've got 3. I'll just run them through really quickly. Then you can throw.
Oh, okay.
Yours.
All right, drop them.
Vampire Survivors, not a new game, but it was new on Switch. I absolutely loved it. Amazing game. What else can I say?
I'm going to steal that and add that to my list too, so include that for me.
AC Mirage, which I enjoyed it. I went up and down with it. It kept my attention. And then Fire Emblem Engaged, released early in the year. I got like 15 to 20 hours into it and just fell off. And I think Hogwarts Legacy came out, and then it was kind of when I started my channel too. So I was, focused on Hogwarts, then PSVR, then Resident Evil 4, and just never got back to it. I fired it up like last week, and I'm like OCD with it. I do not like letting my characters die. I went through a whole my whole.
Oh, you're save scumming, aren't you?
I know. There's this rewind crystal you can get in there, and you can rewind it, but you can only use it so many times in a battle. But it was like before work. I'm playing a little bit before work, and I'm like, I got through my whole turn with all my guys, got through their whole turn with all theirs, except the last guy killed my guy, and I'm like, no, I'm just shut it off. I'm like, I'm done. So I would love to get back to it because the combat, like the story is kind of goofy, but it doesn't have any of the stupid like Harry Potter school stuff like Fire Emblem Three Houses did, to where it's you're quickly getting into battles, which is the best part. And that is my honorable mentions list.
Right on. Those few, huh?
That's it.
All right. Mine's a little bit larger than that. For me, I've got Warhammer Bolt Gun.
Oh yeah, that's right. That came out.
Warhammer 40K. Yeah, that game's awesome. Fortunately, not awesome enough to make my list. I also have Warhammer Rogue Trader, which is a CRPG, not something you're interested in, but it's on my list. It came out right at the beginning of December.
When you see it, you say CRPG, I fall asleep.
Right. Unless you wind up playing Baldur's Gate 3 and you're like, this is amazing, I got to play every single game like this.
I don't even think I'll take the plunge unless I probably get it for free, because I know I'm probably not going to like it. So it's not something I would spend money on probably.
I got Brotato on here.
Oh, Brotato, love it.
Really enjoyed it. Not good enough to make my list. Like a Dragon Ishin. Really enjoyed it. Not good enough to make my list. And for my final game, Monster Hunter Rise, which you could argue did not come out this year, but it did.
It did on Steam, right? And all the other
on
platforms.
Steam and PlayStation and Xbox. It came out this year. Came out last year on Switch.
Totally, yeah. I think I got a decent amount of time into that on Switch.
Yeah, really good game. I'm probably the only game I'm currently playing right now because of all the other stuff I'm working on.
Right.
But not good enough to make my list. Tells you how good these games are this year.
Yeah, some good games this year. All right, I'll start off with my number 10, and then we'll bounce it back to you for your 10. My number 10 is F-Zero 99. Ooh, big surprise. I love Battle Royales, and I love when Nintendo does their specific Battle Royale games. And this one's fun. I love playing. I still have not won one yet, but I absolutely enjoy playing it. They've got some cool, leveling up and changing up your vehicles with different colors and stuff, and then your player cards and stuff. So they've added a ton of new courses to it. You think it is a little random, but at the same time, it does require skill. But I actually think this is a really fun game.
Until they take it down.
I know those MFers. I know they will. Yep. As long as they replace it with another good Battle Royale type game, this is what makes Nintendo stand apart. Is they're doing live service. It's not really a live service thing, but it is kind of a live service. It's trying to keep you subscribed to their subscription, and they've put these little games in there, and they think out of the box.
You know what they're almost doing? They almost have an old school Disney mentality about this. Remember the Disney VHS tapes when we were younger? They would be releasing it from the vault on VHS for the first time in 5-8 years or something crazy like that.
Right.
It's almost like that's what they're doing. They're curating their own stuff by doing this limited release type stuff, which ain't bad, but
not good either.
Kind of stuck at the same time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's my number 10.
For me, number 10 this list was not easy this year. It was Pikmin 4.
Ooh, man, that was one of my games that I've been wanting to get into. I just started. I'm almost done actually with Pikmin 1. I wanted to start from the beginning. So
you're gonna work your way all the way through them all?
Probably won't play much of 3 because I've already beaten 3, but I've never played 1 and 2. So I'm going to do, I think, hopefully, by 6 months from now, I get to 4. I don't want to do them back to back to back. So
was going through my GameCube games, and I do own Pikmin 1 on GameCube.
I got
So
the one.
that was
I got the 1-2 cart on Switch. So,
nice. I need to get that.
but I'm sorry. Go ahead. Pikmin 4.
Oh no, Pikmin 4, awesome game.
Pick,
Pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed that.
the Pikmin series is underrated as fuck.
I would agree. Yeah.
Like,
Though I think Pikmin 4 got a lot of attention
it
this year,
did,
far
yeah.
more attention than 1, 2, or 3.
right.
Maybe that's a new explosive series for Nintendo.
Poor
That
Pikmin
game
3
just works
just
on-
suffered because of it was on the Wii U.
Yeah. Yeah, and Pikmin 4 being designed strictly for the Switch, it shows. It's awesome. Number 9 for you.
My number 9 is Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy.
The game I haven't played.
And you know what? All the backlash kind of just pushed me more towards this game. And I wasn't a Harry Potter fan until the beginning of this year. I'm like, you know what? I want to play this game. I'm going to watch all the Harry Potter movies. I did that. I bought the game, and I thought it's a really good one of these, Ubisoft open world games. They handle the casting of the magic really well with how they bind the spells to your controller. The world is absolutely amazing. That's the star of the show in this game. It has an amazing world. Hogwarts is just beautiful. There's a bunch of little secrets in there. There's tons of stuff, collectibles. This is a game that I would love to, although I probably never will, go back to it, finish doing the side quests, and platinum it. But yeah,
Is it worth getting on the Switch, you think?
just a delightful game. No, no. Yeah, I'd like to see how. Supposedly, it's a great port though for the Switch.
It's one of those weird ports where they broke down the open world game and introduced loading screens. I want to see it just for that.
Right? Yeah.
It's like, where did you break this game down to where it loads here, but not on the other?
Or it's crazy how
consoles or-
they got this to work. A good port compared to like Mortal Kombat 1, where it was like, ooh.
Yeah, but
It just goes to show, like, you put money and time into something, you can make.
yes.
So
It goes to show you that not all boycotts work.
no, and this game, like, it sold surprisingly. It charted again once it released on Switch this fall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I read that earlier today too.
yeah, it make a good Switch port, and sometimes it'll sell really well. So yeah, that's my number 9, Hogwarts Legacy.
And as of this podcast, I think it's still on sale on Switch.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how much. So number 9 for me would be Kingdom 80s.
Huh.
It is a 2D side-scrolling tower defense game that I fell in love the moment I booted it up. Did not put it down until I beat it. It is excellent. It is full of 80s nostalgia. If you like tower defense games, it's very easy to pick up. Not overly complicated, but can get kind of hectic. And a decent little story to boot. It's not very long, but I really enjoyed the heck out of this game.
I do like tower defense games.
Yeah, it's 2D. You only go left and right.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you build your towers and you arm little children with bows and arrows, all on a 2D screen while riding your bicycle,
Nice.
with some 80s synthwave playing every now and then in the background.
Nice.
All right. What's your
8.
number 8?
Number 8 for me is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners on PlayStation VR 2. And
Is that technically a new game?
it's a new game for PlayStation VR 2.
All right, I'll let it slide.
It's a new game for me. And actually goes to show when you make games specifically for VR, they can be really good. And this is one of the best VR games I've ever played. And, dude, I was just amazed at how good this game was. It's it's very basic, but like you can just have so much fun just chopping zombies heads off with the different melee weapons or shooting them. The crazy stuff you can do, pick their heads up, and yeah, it is an absolute blast. And it's not even the second one. I have the second one. I have not downloaded it and played it yet, but I couldn't believe how good this game was. Not a reason to buy the PlayStation VR 2 though, but it's still a
No,
good game.
you have not sold me.
No, sorry.
How easy are they to even get right now? Do you think? Did they ever go to ship to stores?
I actually did. They have was at Target last past week, and I saw a display for it, but nothing there like in the game section. So they are in some stores. They're easy to get, I think. They're unlike the Portal. The Portal's still hard to get, but the PSVR is easy to get.
Yeah, maybe when it goes on a super discount.
Like $150.
Yeah, like a typical Target where we need more room on our shelves. Get this out of here discount.
Right, totally. But I think that was the best VR game that I've played all year is Walking Dead Saints and Sinners.
I tried to play it, but it was your settings that made me sick.
Which I don't know if that says a lot or little. So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have tried it with the default settings first, but I had no clue.
Right, yeah. I'm a VR. I have my VR legs. For someone who doesn't have their VR legs, you might want to start with something more basic.
I need my training wheels on my VR unit.
Right. So, okay, go ahead with your number 8.
Numeral 8. Final Fantasy 16.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. You think that's kind of low?
No, that's your list.
Good game. Not going to say anything about it. Not going to spoil the story at all. Get it, play it. It was good.
Okay.
Side quests are probably what made it number 8 on my list.
Right, totally. I could see that. Yep.
Number 7?
Number 7 for me is Brotato.
Brotato.
So for anybody that likes Vampire Survivors, I would say give Brotato a shot. I like it's got some good music. I like it's very simple. You can do a run really quickly. I think it's a lot quicker to get into than Vampire Survivors. I think Vampire Survivors takes a lot longer to ramp up to where it's more hectic. I would say Vampire Survivors is the better game overall, but Brotato's a little different, so I could see somebody liking Brotato a little more. It's, you just, all you do is move around with the left stick. Basically, you don't press any buttons, and you just level up and get better guns, melee weapons, and whatnot. But, yeah, I love Brotato. Huge surprise for me. I never heard of the game before this year, and released on Switch, and I was like, oh, my God, this game is a blast.
Did you even hear about this game from anybody, or did you just pick it up?
I think I heard about somebody in a Discord before, but I saw that it released and I read up on it and I was like, oh wow, okay. I think it was during a slow week or something like that, and yeah, not something that I was anticipating or oh, Brotato.
I need some Brotato in my life.
Right? Yeah, totally. So that's my number 7.
Number 7 for me is RoboCop Rogue City.
Ooh, man, yeah, that's one I'd like to get to.
Fantastic first-person shooter. I don't know if I could recommend it, because if you are expecting it to play like a traditional FPS, like Halo or Call of Duty, it doesn't, because it's so much slower, because you're a big, heavy metal robot that just clunks through the levels, shooting guys in the crotch. Yes, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Definitely worth picking up. Definitely worth picking up on a sale.
Nice.
Yeah, number 6.
Okay, number 6 for me is a game that released. I think it released December last year, and that is Crisis Core Final Fantasy Reunion, or Final Fantasy VII Reunion, maybe. But
nice,
yeah,
this
is a remake of what is a PSP game, and I never played it before, and I was shocked how much I enjoyed it. I do love the Final Fantasy VII universe, and it's much different. It's an action game, but since it's a PSP game, all the levels and everything are bite size, and you can get through them in 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. So, and it's got a really neat story. It goes over all the stuff with Zack. And I think if you're going to play Rebirth, you should probably play Crisis Core before you go ahead into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, I'll have to get that before the new one releases.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, if you want to save money, I would get this one instead, probably on sale, and then wait till the new one comes on sale and then play that one. But yeah, you're definitely from what the trailers have shown for Rebirth, it looks like since it's basically gonna a new game, it's basically gonna deal with a lot of stuff that happens in Crisis Core.
Nice.
So that is my number 6.
All right. Well, my number 6 might be a surprise that's this low on my list to some people, but not a surprise that it's on my list at all because I've been talking about it like crazy. Dredge.
Dredge. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm surprised that it's so low.
Yes. After spending like an entire weekend just dredging the entire weekend away, I too was surprised that it was number 6. But yeah, phenomenal game. Pay full price for it. It's awesome.
I think I might go buy this physically for the Switch. I think.
Pay full price for it. It's awesome.
Okay.
I mean, get it on sale if you can.
But you just buy,
I'm just saying
buy,
it is.
Should I just buy 2 copies of it then?
Yes, give one
Okay.
to your children.
Right.
Phenomenal game. Fishing game. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. I like fishing. Fishing games are fun too, as well.
It's a gimmick fishing, though. It's not like rod and reel. You play little mini games to dredge up fish.
Okay. Cool. I mean, it's highly recommended by a lot of people. So.
By damn near everybody.
Right. All right. My number 5 is the Callisto Protocol, which released.
I call bullshit. It didn't come out this year.
In December, I believe, of last year. I think. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm shocked how much I love this game. I mean,
You
it
are like
just
one of
goes
the
to
few
show
people in the world that love that game that much.
And you know what? I'm playing Dead Space Remake right now, and there are things in the Callisto Protocol that they do better in that game than in Dead Space Remake.
It could also be that Callisto Protocol did not release
is a new game.
in a finished state.
Oh, maybe.
And it got some patches because I know a lot of people didn't like the way it performed when initially released. So maybe it got a lot of patches and a lot of love. But yeah, a lot of people didn't seem too happy with that game. So it is
I
kind of
like
surprising.
the punch-out style, like melee combat, and I think that has that. I like that over some of the stuff that Dead Space does, and I feel like
That's cool and different, isn't it?
yes, and I feel like Callisto Protocol is much more cinematic, has better voice acting, and than what Dead Space. I'm only 2 hours into Dead Space Remake, but I feel like it does that and tells a better story so far than what Dead Space does. But I will say that Dead Space does seem like the better game overall. But yeah, I absolutely love the game. I was just shocked. My biggest surprise of the year, and I remember just people being like disappointed with it. And it came free on PS Plus, and I'm like, I guess I'll give it a shot. I do love. I've come to the realization that survival horror is like maybe my number 1 or 2 genre that I like. And when you make a one that's pretty decent, I usually do like them. So.
Really? Are you a fan of The Evil Within?
Yes, love The Evil Within. I like the first one
Okay.
better than the second one, but the second one's still pretty good though too. I do love the Evil Within franchise. I'm hoping we get another one of those as well. So
Yeah, me too.
Evil Within,
Make it happen, Microsoft.
Evil Within scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, me too.
So
That world well, he's gone now,
Shinji
but the world
Mikami,
that he
yeah.
built was just awesome.
it was, yeah,
The visual effects
right.
that brought the Xbox One to its knees.
That's where I played it at too.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, that game did not work well when it released.
So that is my number 5. What is your number 5?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate, the most overrated game, and you have this game over Dredge. I cannot believe it.
I disagree.
I'm going to shame you because you shit talked this game and you have it over Dredge, the game that you absolutely love. So
Now, I never said it was a bad game. I really like Baldur's
you thought it
Gate
was
3.
way overrated.
Because of the type of game it is and because the studio has put out this caliber of game before, but for some reason this game just blew up. That's why I think it's overrated, because it's like, hey, they made the similar games before, but nobody's talking about those games, right? They're only talking about Baldur's Gate 3, and that's it. It's the only game that exists to some people.
Right.
Which is why I think it's blown out of proportion. Like, hey, check out their backlog of games. They made some really awesome shit before, but nobody cares. If it's not Baldur's Gate 3, it doesn't matter to them. But it is a good game.
Yeah, I don't think that's one I'll try unless it comes on one of these services, probably for the price of nothing.
It probably hit Game Pass before the PlayStation Pass.
Right. So, my number 4 is Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Boo!
It,
Only number 4, huh?
yeah, but I mean, it is, the other games, but bigger, better, more cinematics,
Woker.
Yeah, I mean, the bump in quality from Spider-Man 1 to this is just people say they haven't seen triple the budget, but like if you go through the side stuff in here, it is way better than it is in the first one, and there's a lot bigger boss fights. There's more of them, so I mean, I don't know if that counts for triple the budget, but I could see them spending a lot more money on this than the first one. It's a really good game. I really
And there's
enjoyed
more
it.
to the city, right? They
They added
just
another part. They
reuse
added
the map, right?
They added the boroughs, I think, of like Brook. Yeah, so like there's like another. I would say it's about 60% bigger than the first one as far like size wise of the islands. Plus, there's something that happens in the story which changes the city. So
No spoilers now. It's
No.
a brand new game.
don't want to spoil it. No, brand new. So
Even though I already know what happens.
number 4, Marvel's Spider-Man number 2.
Numero deux. For me, number 4 is going to be Sea of Stars.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to play this one yet?
I played the demo on something, and but that was it. Enough to know that I probably would like it.
It's really good. That's all I'm going to say. It is a Chrono Trigger inspired indie game developed by the same people that made, what the hell was that game they made? The Messenger? Yeah. The Messenger. Which was also a really awesome indie game. These people know their indie games, and they're not pigeonholing themselves into one genre. They went from a platformer / Metroidvania to a isometric JRPG game, and it's awesome. Music is not as good as I was hoping it would be, but it is good.
Nice. They got the bag
Yeah.
too. That was on Game Pass and the PlayStation Plus.
And
tier.
still sold a shitload of copies on top of that.
Yeah, Switch and
I know, because I'm one that bought it.
Yeah.
Or the ones that bought it. Definitely worth checking out.
Excellent.
Number 3.
All right, on to the top 3. My number 3 is Final Fantasy 16. And I
Beat out
debated
Spider-Man 2, huh?
I debated on that order between Spider-Man and Final Fantasy 16, but I gave it to that game because it's doing something different. And I would say like it has more memorable moments than Spider-Man 2 does. Better story. I actually liked the gameplay. Once you get all the different icons, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, once you get it all.
It takes once you're, when you've got the 1 or 2 icons, it does get repetitive, but once you get all the different ones and you can figure out which ones you want to use and which ones you like and you got them leveled up, it's really fun.
When you're doing 90,000 damage in a combo because of all the different icons you have, the game is a lot of fun. The later bosses seemed a little too spongy to me.
Yeah.
But the overall storyline, except for the ending, I kind of call bullshit on the ending. I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, no, that last part, I could have used without. But overall, the story was great. Like some excellent voice acting, top notch music, the best music of the year, I would say.
Real interesting world design.
Yeah.
It's too bad those side quests just stuck ass.
Totally. That's a Square thing, too. And that was like how I know that some of the previews for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is talking about how big the game is. I'm like, no.
But I read that they understood that the quests were bad, the side quests were bad in 16, so they're going to try to fix them.
You guys don't know what good and bad is. They were bad in Final Fantasy VII Remake as well. You guys, they were bad in Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I don't trust you guys.
Bad in Rebirth.
So yeah,
some of the worst side quest design ever.
Totally. But it had enough highs for me to put it up there at number 3. I really did overall enjoy it, and I pretty much beat it mostly start to finish. I only jumped to one other game between that. So, yeah, that's my number 3, Final Fantasy 16.
Nice. For me, number 3 was Armored Core 6.
Oh, I totally forgot that came out this year.
You got to play this game. I think you might like it. Very fast mech combat. It's a lot of fun to play. From Software did it again. Made another awesome game.
They did it. They did it.
I mean, people should go out and buy it just when I say mech combat, because there's not enough mech combat games out there.
There really isn't. Maybe there's a reason.
Now, there's this one, and then there's that one that came out on the Switch. I forget the name of it.
I'm trying to think of what that is.
It's a red box. I could see the box to the game in my head.
They're all red boxes. I'm looking at red boxes.
Yeah, it's something with a D.
Hmm.
Demon Ex Machina.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Demon Ex Machina.
Demon Ex Machina.
But yeah, there's not enough mech games, and this is a really good one.
Xbox needs to revive Mech Assault.
Yes, or just reissue those games backwards compatible, or re-release those games.
I feel like there's a licensing thing with that game. That's why.
Gotta be, because that's what everybody wanted. When they were doing those backwards compatible games, everyone's like, it's finally going to be Mech Assault.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and everybody was pissed.
Yeah. All right, we are on to the top 2, and my number 2 is Resident Evil 4 Remake. This is one of
not your top number 1 game. That is surprising.
I know. Yeah, it was a tough year. I didn't know whether to go. Like I said, another one that's a remake, so I kind of docked it a little bit of points. But I never finished this game originally for Wii, GameCube, PS2. But I blew through this game twice. I played the DLC. This game is one of the best games ever, in my opinion. I absolutely love it.
Nice. It's been going on some pretty steep sales, so one of these sales I'm going to wind up getting it.
It is just... I blew through this game in a week. Just the definition of just fun. There's no downtime in this game for me. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, it cemented the fact that the Resident Evil franchise is one of my favorite franchises in all gaming.
I would not disagree with that.
So
it is definitely up there for me.
That is my number 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake.
My number 2 is Remnant 2.
Remnant 2. Oh yeah, that's another one I've been meaning to get to, and now it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I put a lot of hours into it, and well, if you don't own it by now and haven't been playing it, you're probably not going to. I don't think it's really niche, but
I played some of the first one, and I could see why people liked it, but I'm not going to go back to the first one now that the second one's out. It runs at 60, and
yeah, no, you don't need to go back to the first one. I mean, they reference the first game a little bit, but it's in a vague way, and you don't really need to understand it. It's a lot of fun, especially with friends in co-op. Otherwise, single player, it's a little bit harder.
Okay.
Because it is a Souls-like, so it's got that FromSoft.
Right.
Dodge roll. Invincibility frames.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Fat rolling.
Yeah.
Mechanics in it.
I'll give it a shot and see.
It's a lot of fun. But that is my number 2.
I'm guessing me and you both have the same number 1 then, huh?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I did wear my suit and tie for this number 1.
Okay. My number 1 is Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah,
that is not on my top 10 list. Why is it your number 1?
It is it's just incredible what they accomplished with this game. And it just goes to show like how Nintendo outclasses everybody else with this weak, underpowered 2017 tablet that they have. And it's just, you're talking about Starfield and their loading screens, and this game you're transitioning from the sky. I mean, they're hiding a loading in there probably somewhere, but it's transferring from these sky islands down to the, Hyrule, down to the depths. And there's just so much incredible stuff to do in this game. They've really fun side content, a bunch of fun, like caves to explore to get better armor and better gear, and the whole zonite system and crafting and improved dungeons, I would say, over the Divine Beasts. There's one of them that was absolutely spectacular, and the other ones were all just really good, I guess. A great ending, some great stuff at the end. That just, if you're a fan of the franchise, it just, will bring a tear to your eye. But yeah.
I need to make an addendum and add this to my honorable mentions because it really should be.
God, how did you not have this in your top 10?
There?
Boy.
Because there were so many good games this year. I did
Man.
not forget about it, but I enjoyed everything else on my list a lot more than that game.
That's disappointing as a friend. I'm sorry. I'm just disappointed in you overall.
I mean, it could be tied for some of these games on this list,
man.
but ultimately it did not make my list.
Wow. Okay, what's your number one?
Super Mario Wonder, a Nintendo game.
Okay, yeah, all right. I totally forgot about that, yeah.
The game is fucking awesome.
Okay. I didn't even think about that game.
It is the modern Mario we need.
Because I never played it, yeah, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. I gotta get to that, damn. Okay, you redeemed yourself, I guess.
All right.
That was gonna be the first and last game of the year podcast, but you redeemed yourself. So, and that just goes to show what I mean. Nintendo is special. They're special.
Very. A large portion of this list could have been made up of the games they released this year.
Right, totally. It's just I didn't get to. I probably would have had Mario and Pikmin probably in there. I just didn't get to them. So.
And Mario RPG.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that was our first game of the year podcast. That was fun.
Yeah, subscribe and like, and
we will
stick around for next year's.
Right, yeah.
If we have any games this year.
Next week will be a normal show, but we will try to, depending on what happens in the news, we were thinking about maybe doing a prediction show. We have a couple predictions, nothing like formatted like this, but.
The game of the year next year, I'm already predicting it's going to be Dragon's Dogma 2.
Oh, for you, I'm sure, yeah. Definitely. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for watching and listening, and we will see you at our regularly scheduled time, which is either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday of next week.
Flip a coin.
And we will see you guys for the game of the year next year. So,
join us, every game that comes out between now and then.
We'll see you guys in 2025. Later, everyone.